we have to start painting. As far as I know, everything is nipped and snipped and scraped, and yeah, the top row of tins, some of the parts are painted already from several weeks ago. Except for the depth charges, I think I'm probably going to leave them natural. If you remember, we had decided if we leave them the color they are, they're going to contrast nicely with the cage or the frame that holds those little depth charges. So they probably won't get painted. And just below them, the tin just below, I'm probably not going to be using those large photo etch pieces. They're the ones that are supposed to cover the catapult. And if you remember, we decided we're not going to use those. So I won't be painting that, but everything else pretty well has to be painted. On the bottom, the tins that are covered with the cellophane wrap, they're the larger radar units. They'll probably be the lighter gray. Everything else is probably going to be the darker gray, so it'll contrast against the the sides of the deck houses and what have you, that is going to be the lighter gray. Anyway, this week is going to be pretty much to do with painting. The videos are probably not going to be too long. I mean, who wants to sit and watch paint dry, right? Anyway, let's get started. Now the last thing I want to have to do here is repaint the deck. No, that's funny. I thought the last thing I wanted to do was get my fingers in front of the lens so nobody could see nothing. This is the second coat on this one. I forgot to push record again on the first one, sorry. You know, they say that hindsight is a lot clearer than foresight, and this is one of those instances. I should have made the effort to, turn those little things over and painted the underside when I was spraying, even if it, even if I had to wait till the next day. But I thought, I'll just use the brush and everything will go along fine. It's easy. Yeah, right. Oops. Got it on the hatchway. This one's not going as well. Well, maybe I should be thinning the paint out just a little bit. I think once that dries, though, I think it's going to sort of blend right in. A lot better than it was. Okay, just two more. Okay, now for the last one, I'm going to have to raise the hull up a bit. Let's quit while the quitting's good. I'm noticing I didn't do a very good job on this one here. The hole is sort of balanced very precariously, as you can see. That's somewhat better. Now when I view these hatches in the stern here, this one, this one, this one, and this one, they look pretty good at first glance. Unless you put on a magnifying hood or something and look really close, you don't notice anything wrong with them. And the three up in the bow, it's the same thing. They look pretty good now. A few minutes ago I took a break and I checked my comments and got a comment on a video I put up some time ago, and a guy asked a question. And so I thought, well, if he had the decency to watch the video, I should have the decency to, reply to the comment. So I did. And then I thought, I wonder, who this guy is, because I didn't recognize the name or anything. So I clicked on the avatar, or like the picture that was beside, and then up comes his channel. And usually when I do that, what I'll get is, this channel has no content or something like that. People don't post anything. And that's fine. But this time he did. So I checked his videos, and he was obviously a woodworker. And that's why I wanted to see what he was up to. So anyway, up comes the video, and it's this gorgeous wood that here in Winnipeg you'd spend, I'm guessing, probably close to $100 a board foot. Beautiful, beautiful wood. So he's planing this, and he's using one of these old heavy-duty combination table saw jointer things, and a real heavy-duty old thing that's probably powered by a car motor or something. Anyway, yeah, but there's something interesting about it. And then there was another video, and they were using a much more heavy-duty saw, which you'll see if you bother to watch the video. But I was watching this, and I was thinking, this could be made amusing if it had the appropriate captions underneath. So I put what I feel is appropriate captions, and this thing will last about a minute, that's all. So if you want to see something a little bit different, please watch. Now, for those of you who tell me that my fingers are too close to the blade, yeah. And actually, you know what? Sometimes my fingers are too close to the blade. And I appreciate the comment. Yeah, I'm going to have to go over this entire deck with a little brush and an air hose, I guess, and get the dust off it. Now, as long as we're talking about comments, at the same time I read another comment from somebody, and we were talking about, or he was talking about, the different shades of gray, and I said I'll try to remember to mention that later in today's episode. And here's an example of why I'm using two different shades of gray. And I think I may have talked about this before, but I just want to show this graphically here, that what happens when you use two different shades of gray. These very, very small pieces here, if they are up against something that is of the same color, you're not going to notice them until you move in really, really close. And most people that are going to be viewing this model are not going to be in that close. But right now, you can see how these small pieces, they just stand right out against this gray. And most of the ship is going to be this lighter gray, whereas the smaller pieces are all going to be, or at least most of them, the darker gray. Now, let's say I was living way back in the 30s and somebody said to me, Ron, I want you to design this battleship so that from a distance it's not going to get seen. You know, we don't want the other guy to see us. We want to be able to be as stealthy as possible. Well, I would have probably taken a different bunch of shades of different colors and, had them way off, maybe 15, 20 miles away. And the one that I could see the least, well, that's the one we're going to paint the ships. So they came up with this shade of gray, and they undoubtedly painted practically everything this. They didn't want anything that was going to be like a red flag waving that could be seen. Now, I know later on radar came along, and, that kind of defeated the purpose. Now, the thing about radar is you're going to pick up the other guy's radar before it's going to bounce off your ship and be sent back to them. So, it was sort of, you probably lose more than you gain with radar. Now I know we've got stealth ships now, and people think, okay, now our ship is stealthy. The radar will bounce off of it. Oh, give me a break. Do you really think the other guy doesn't know exactly where we are? I got a feeling that they know where our ships are within just a few inches at any given time because of satellites. We're giving off heat. Heat is a radio signal. Don't kid yourself. We probably know where they are too. Now, this is just my opinion, and I could be wrong. Okay, you remember this place. This is where these little pieces here get mounted into these holes. And I want to paint the inside of this so that it sort of stands out a little bit better. Paint it lighter, maybe a really light gray. I might have to mix something up. I don't think white is a very good idea. But what I'm thinking is I should really maybe be plugging these holes with the end of a toothpick. And that way I'm not going to be filling it up with paint. It's not like I'm using the airbrush here. So it's not as easy to be delicate, if you know what I mean. Speaking of, you know what I mean, notice here how this stands out. This shade of gray really stands out against the darker shade of gray. Sort of reverse of what we were doing before. Now, of course, this is much more contrasty than necessary, but anyway, just a point of interest there. Well, let's get 7 more toothpicks, and you know what, maybe I could use the same toothpick all the time. No, I better not. Now, I was finding that toothpick was a little bit hard to get into the hole. So I'm going to sharpen them just a little bit, but I have to be careful I don't make them too pointy. Otherwise, I risk breaking one off. Well, I think that's pretty good. Okay, now I'll make 8. Now, I was going to leave them long and have quite a bit sticking out, and then I realized that something long sticking out of the hole is going to be kind of awkward for the paintbrush. So now I'm thinking only have them long enough to go down in there, and just so long as I can get a hold of them later with the paintbrush. No, I meant get hold of them later with the tweezers. Yeah, let's try something like that. I think that'll be okay. Maybe a little bit longer. Now, I was just sitting here editing out these last couple of scenes, and I heard a noise. And I know some of you are thinking to yourselves, here we go again. Well, I did. I heard sort of a thunk. And I thought, oh my goodness, another bird flew into the window. So I get up here and I go to the front and Look out the window, no dead bird out the one window. Check the other one, no dead bird. And I'm thinking, well, I guess it's okay. And I look up onto the street, and there's a Dynamex vehicle sitting there. And I thought, oh my goodness, the delivery's here already. I only ordered this yesterday morning. Well, I'll show you what it is because it's sort of related to what we're doing here. How can brick and mortar stores stay in business? My goodness, and it was free delivery. And it was on sale too. Those of you who have been watching my workshop videos regularly over the years will recall that I have said a few things over and over again, and 3 of them are this. I don't like to do retakes. I don't like to do reenactments. And I like to be completely honest in my videos. Well, I gotta be completely honest here. This scene is a reenactment. Yep, that was the noise. Well, those of you who were hoping to see some more painting, well, you're going to be out of luck here, because we're going to have a box opening video. Just got to make some room here, and we'll do the rest of these, I guess, tomorrow in episode 138. I don't need a whole lot of room. Very carefully now so I don't break anything. Yeah, it should fit here. Now this is model related, okay? Oh my goodness. I got a feeling we're not going to be wondering what something is supposed to be from now on. Oh my, look at the detail. Well, we'll go through this a little bit tomorrow. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.